Okay, we're beginning lying on our backs in Shavasana, everybody. Working on opening the hips today for sense of freer movement through the spine, and being able to differentiate different parts of the body and allow them to work and move separately. So once you settle in to Shavasana, lying on your back, just drop down and feel the weight of your bones. And let your breath breathe you. Notice what's present for you on an energetic level, on a mental level, emotional level. And on a physical level, what's present. Let's sense in particular the weight of the pelvis and the orientation of the pelvis. You might feel like you're tipped a little to one side, or like the whole pelvis is tilted forward, kind of away from you, or back a little more towards you, or maybe you feel perfectly centered right in the middle. Notice the legs and how they're oriented, if they are turned out a lot and to the same degree, or if they're different. Notice your spine, how much space there is between the lumbar, your lower spine, and the floor. And sense, if you can, the rib cage and the relationship between your rib cage and your hips or your pelvis. So if they seem like they're on the same plane, or if the ribs feel higher up than the pelvis, maybe it feels like one big block. And then notice the relationship between your breath and your body, where you can feel the breath, where the breath is creating movement. And now we'll begin our movement inquiry by planting the feet wider than the hips, perhaps as wide as your mat. And let's open the arms out to a T. Palms can be up or down. And let's just start with an easy windshield wiper side to side. Go slow. Be in the movement. Be sure you allow that outer leg to drop all the way down. Usually it's the case that if it's up, you just don't even realize that you're holding it up. Let's begin to rotate the head opposite the direction the legs are going. rotating your head, and if your eyes are open, rotate your eyes as well. So you're looking toward the floor. Now let's add a little engagement, a little more intention to this inner leg. So by inner leg, I mean the leg that you're dropping to the inner edge of the foot to. And it's kind of a reach away with the knee by pressing the foot into the floor. So as you press the inner edge of the foot into the floor, the knee launches away from you. You can start that kind of soon, so it has an arc-like quality versus a linear quality. So as soon as the knee starts to come up, like a lob, if you've ever played tennis, like up and over. Just a little different approach, might not feel different. Notice sensation through the, not just the hips, but also through the ribs and the spine. You can support the back by engaging your buttocks of that inward leg, the glutes. Okay, and then either side, actually, let's drop over. Next time you get to the left side, just pause there. And now the foot won't actually lift, but imagine you could lift the right foot, so knees dropped to the left. We're imagining we could lift the right foot off of the ground. So create the intention to do so and feel the muscles that engage when you do so. And just hold that reaching of the foot up toward the ceiling action for a moment. And then relax the leg. And same thing, other side. Rock the knees over to the right. The foot, I can't imagine it would lift off the ground. If it does, good for you. I wish I had that kind of mobility, but we're trying to lift the left foot up toward the ceiling and feeling where the muscles are working as a result. Hold it for a moment longer, and then let the leg relax. And drop the knees back over to the left. So we're going to continue with that, but we're going to add a little something here, as we usually do. So we'll try to lift the right foot up. You can try flexing the foot so that the whole leg's a little bit more alive and engaged. And then let the right leg relax and lift the left foot away from the ground. So keep the knee down, but lift the foot up. That should most likely happen for you. And then lower the foot down. Let's drop the knees over to the right. Same thing here. We'll do this a few times. So we try to lift the foot, left foot away from the ground. And then release. And then lift the right foot away from the ground. Try to keep the knee and the thigh down. So I'm not lifting the whole leg, just the foot and the lower leg, but knee down. Releasing, find your own rhythm here. A few more times. Lifting the outer foot, attempting, pausing at the end range for a moment, and then lifting the inner foot. And here too, pausing at the end range for a moment. And side to side here. You might be feeling sensation in different areas on the two different sides. One side might be easier than the other. Let's go about one more time each side. And then the next time knees drop over to the left, you don't have to rush to get there. We're going to stay here. Knees dropped to the left. Now let's stretch the right arm alongside the ear. And we still have that energy, that action of the right foot, inner edge of the foot pushing into the ground, the knee moving away from you. Feeling the opening maybe through the whole right side. Often our glutes are underactive, so here would be a good place to squeeze right buttock muscles. Good to see if the right knee will move a little down toward the ground and how that feels different. And then relax, let the right arm come back to the T. Let's take it over to the other side. Knees drop to the right. Push the inner edge of the left foot into the ground. Left arm alongside the ear or wherever you can get it to help cultivate a bit more of sensation through the left side. The left knee reaching away, left buttock muscles squeezing. And then eventually coming back through center. And just a easy windshield wiper a few more times. Legs can just be really relaxed and passive, or you can put more energy and work into it. It's up to you. Rotating the head opposite. If the eyes are open, you can initiate the rotation of the head with the eyes, or let the eyes continue after the neck reaches the end of its rotation. And then make your way back to center. Slide your legs out straight and bring your arms down alongside your body. Notice what you notice. Okay, let's try the Baddha Konasana slide. So slide the outer edge of one foot along the ground to bring the foot toward the pelvis. Knee bends directly out to the side, and then slide the leg out straight, alternating. Knee goes directly to the side. You can imagine you've got a weight on your inner thigh. Feel free to pause anywhere you'd like. And notice sensation through the inner thigh, outer hip, this shifting of the pelvis side to side. What's happening in the ribs? How are the ribs moving relative to the hips? Next time, left knee bends, pause. So we're basically in like tree pose if we were standing on the right leg. And let's wake up the right leg. So toes point up, flex the foot a little bit like you're standing on that leg. Notice the ribs here, if they're flaring up toward the ceiling. See if you can nudge them a little more down toward the floor. Option to stretch the arms up alongside the ears. So palms up or palms facing each other. Let's go hands shoulder width apart. Driving through the right heel away from you. Stretching the arms in the opposite direction. And then if you can lift your head for a moment, just take a peek. And normally we would just let the left leg be heavy. That's what we've been doing. But instead, let's go for neutral pelvis here. So you're gonna have to most likely lift the left side of the pelvis a little bit so that you're level and not tipped off to the left. So really, truly tree pose, but on your back. So pelvis stays level, but you can actively press the left thigh down. Couple more breaths here. Pelvis stays level, left thigh presses down, and you could try a little bit of reaching the left knee away from the midline. See how that changes things, if it does. And then bringing arms back down alongside the body and slide the left leg straight. Second side here, right leg, right foot sliding toward the pelvis, pausing here. Activate your left leg like you're in mountain pose, standing. So toes point up, push through your heel. Maybe taking arms alongside the ears if that works for your shoulders. I'm reaching as if I were to stomp the heel into the ground if I were standing, and stretching the arms up toward the ceiling. And then take a look. If you're letting the weight of your right leg go, which we have been, you'll be tipped over to the right. See if you can come back to center, come back to level pelvis. So you'll have to shift over to the left a little bit, or maybe a lot. Try to keep the neutral pelvis and press the right thigh down toward the ground. Make sure ribs aren't popping up. So that's part of the differentiation of the pelvis and the spine to be able to move separately. You could try to reach the right knee away from you, away from the midline. And from here, bring your arms back down, slide your legs straight, pausing here in Shavasana. Please roll onto your side. Let's roll onto the right side. I'm on my left, you be on your right. And try using, if you're on a mat, use the back edge of your mat to align your sacrum with the back of your head. And then let's bend the knees. They don't have to be all the way to 90, but somewhere within there. They could be a little less bent. Let's not go more bent. So let's not have the knees tucked in too much. I would say if you can go knees in line with hips, that'll work well. Bottom arm can be a pillow, or with the arms straight or bent, you can fill in space between head and arm to keep the neck relaxed. Okay, so from here, keep the knees together, lift your top foot off of your bottom foot. The left foot rising up, knees are staying connected. Release the foot down, and now we'll do the opposite. Keep the feet together, and lift the top knee off the bottom knee. Don't roll onto your back at all, everybody. Let's try to keep the hips stacked. So you might have to take a visual check-in to make sure that the legs are opening without the hips, without the pelvis shifting. Okay, let's just go back and forth a few more times here. So knees stay together, foot lifts up. Pause at the end range here for a moment. And then feet together, knees open. It's just coming from the legs. I mean, it's coming from the hip too. Right, it's the rotation of the leg in the hip socket. When you lift the foot up, notice what's happening through the pelvis and where the pelvis connects to the leg. That's your hip joint. So we're trying to keep the pelvis stacked, not letting the pelvis roll forward. And the thigh is rotating internally. And keep going. Okay, so adding on here, next time knees are together, foot lifts up, and then straighten the leg. Just keep the knees together, or at least the thighs stacked. And then bend. Let's actually put the knee down and then the foot down. And let's repeat that a few times. So we'll lift the foot, keeping the knees together. Then just lift the knee so it's not connected to the bottom knee anymore. Straighten the leg out in front. Thighs are staying stacked. So I'm not sweeping the leg at this point anyway toward the face. And bend. Connect the knees first and then the foot. Try that a couple more times. Get the feel. Okay, this next time we lift the foot. Hello, outer hip. Then lift the knee just a little bit. Straighten the leg out in front of you. Thighs are still stacked. And then a little kind of slow motion pulse here. So I'm not trying to get the foot up toward the ceiling. Leg is straight or straightish. Not rotating the toes up toward the ceiling, so the leg is pretty neutral. And you might be feeling there's a lot in the outer hip. Let's go a few more times. Ooh. Bend the knee, connect the knees first, and then the foot, then the feet. Okay, we're gonna lift the foot again, knees are together. Lift the knee a little bit, straighten the leg out in front of you, and now bring the leg closer to you. That's it. We'll keep the leg relatively straight, and we're not gonna use our hands or belt at all here. And then bring the thighs back to stack, bend the knee, just rewind, knee lands, foot lands. Try that a couple more times. Lift the foot, lift the knee a little bit, straighten the leg, then bring the leg slowly with control closer in. Notice what's happening in the pelvis. If your tailbone's tucking under and the lower back is lengthening out, bring the leg back, bend the knee, land the foot. One more time. This time, see if you can keep neutral pelvis. You might bring your left hand to your lower back and feel that you have a lumbar curve. Lift the foot, lift the knee, straighten the leg, and then only go as far as you can without the orientation of the pelvis changing. Just a little different, maybe a lot different. And then rewind, bend the knee, land the foot, land the knee, land the foot. Okay, let's take this to the other side. Make sure your head is supported, however that works best for you. Aligning the sacrum at the back of the head. That'll counteract, I don't know about you, but my natural tendency to have the head forward a bit. And then let's do knees pretty much in line with the hips. Okay, we'll keep the knees together, lift the foot. Pause for a moment. What does that feel like? And then land the foot, keep the feet together like a clamshell, opening the knee. And maybe the pelvis isn't moving at all, but just check in, make sure that we're really isolating the movement without letting the pelvis shift forward or back. Couple more times. And the foot is lifted, and the knees are together. That's internal rotation. So the pelvis should stay where it is. And we can feel this inner thigh rotating, kind of wrapping in toward the midline. Okay, this next time, knees are connected, foot lifts up. We'll straighten the legs. The knee can just come up off to clear the bottom knee. Thighs stay parallel, legs straight. Bend the knee. Let's land the knee first and then the foot. Lifting the foot, lifting the knee just a little bit, straightening the leg or straightering the leg. Good to push through the heel here so the foot is awake. Rewind. Couple more times like this. If you're starting to feel burning in your outer hip, I'm with you. Okay, this next time, lift the foot, lift the knee just a little bit, straighten the leg, thighs are stacked, and then just a slowish pulse here. No rotation in the leg, so I'm not rotating the foot internally or externally. I mean, it's not wrong, it's just not the suggestion. Mm-hmm. Okay, still the leg, bend the knee, connect the knees, connect the feet. Lift the foot, lift the knee just a little bit, straighten the leg, and then just on its own power, bring the leg closer into you. And then thighs stack, bend, knee first, then foot. Again. Try not to swing the leg, move it with intention. Notice what's happening through the lower spine and the pelvis when you bring the leg in. So you're probably feeling the back lengthen. It might feel really good. And the tailbone kind of tuck a little bit. So this next time, let's bring right hand to the lower back and make sure you have a lumbar curve, a concavity there. Doesn't have to be a big one. Lift the foot, lift the knee a little bit, straighten the leg, and then don't let that curve change and bring the leg in, probably not as far. And then rewind. Beautiful. And then at the end of that one, whenever it is for you, you can make your way onto your belly. Okay, let's bring left leg to this Baddha Konasana tree pose shape. Shoulders are relaxed, head can stay down. Working on our same theme here. So the knee might be in line with the hip. It might not be that far up. The foot doesn't have to be connected to the thigh like tree pose. But let's try to slither or slide the left knee a little away from you so the inner thigh gets a little closer to the floor. So you'll feel that in the inner thigh and the adductors. Okay, we're gonna lift the foot off the ground, keeping the knee down. And then lower the foot down, and the knee probably won't come off the ground, but try to push the left foot into the floor and try to lift the left knee off the ground. So it's not about getting it off the ground, it's about feeling the muscles that are working to try to make that happen. And then we'll release the knee, and let's just repeat a few times. So we lift the foot up, and then foot is down, and knee is trying to lift off the ground. When you lift the foot, same idea here. So for internal rotation, the pelvis stays where it is and the inner thigh wraps down. So we don't want to kind of like sink the left side of the pelvis into the ground because, woo, then I can get my foot up so high, but now it's not really internal rotation anymore. So see if you can bring that into the exploration. When you lift the foot, keep that left side of the pelvis where it is instead of letting it roll forward. So it's a rotation of the thigh bone in the hip socket rather than the whole hip. A couple more times here. Trying to lift the left knee. Last one on this side. And then land the foot, land the knee, slide the leg back. Second side, whenever you're ready. Right knee is bent, pointing out to the right, or whatever your second side is. So the knee could be in line with the hip, but it might not be. It might be lower down toward your foot. That's fine. And the foot doesn't need to connect to the thigh. We're not trying to do a precise tree pose here on our belly. But see if you can slide the knee a little further away from you so the inner thigh gets a little closer to the ground. Okay, head is down, shoulders are relaxed. We'll try lifting the foot away from the floor. It's good to go slow because you might get further and you might pause at the end range for a little moment or two. And then landing the foot and trying your best to lift the knee off the ground. Holding that engagement for at least a breath, about a breath. Alternating. When the foot lifts, try not to let the pelvis kind of sink or dump toward the ground. Keep the pelvis where it is and feel or visualize the inner thigh rotating. It means the whole thigh, but you feel the inner thigh kind of wrapping potentially. Couple more times. And then when it works for you, slide the leg back. I missed one shape I want to do on our side, so we can roll onto either side, taking our side lying hero's pose. So legs straight, bottom arm in some kind of configuration as a pillow. Make sure your head is in line with your pelvis and not in front. And then we'll reach for the top foot, bringing the heel toward the sitting bone. So we're stretching the quad and the hip flexor here. If you engage your bottom leg and flex the foot and engage the glutes, you'll feel more stable and less wobbly. As you draw the foot in toward the sitting bone, also push the foot into the hand. Here's a place where the ribs will often spill forward because it gives us this really illusion that we can get deeper into the stretch. But then it's the spine doing it, and this is a hip flexor quad stretch. So keep the rib basket, the whole rib cage, in line with the pelvis, instead of letting it fall forward. Carefully release and roll, same shape, other side. Bottom leg is helping to stabilize you by being active. Draw your heel toward your sitting bone, but also press the foot into the hand. What a difference. And check the relationship between your rib cage and your pelvis. And see if you can make sure the ribs are more aligned with the pelvis than forward. Gently release the foot and roll onto your back again. Let's pause here in Shavasana. Notice what you notice. Notice if the legs are at a different orientation, different angle than when we started. They might be. Okay, let's plant feet. Feet not right underneath the knees, a little further away. And let's find neutral pelvis. So hands in this triangle shape, Trimurti Mudra. So fingers connect to the pubic bone and outer edges of the hands connect to those bony points in the front of your pelvis. And that whole area is level. This means you have a little space between lower back and the floor. So we've been working a lot with this because it helps to strengthen the back, right? If we're rooting the back down, we're protecting it, but we're engaging the abdominals. So we also most of us need to work more to strengthen posterior chain or back body. So we're keeping that neutral pelvis. And then from here, let's bring left knee in toward the chest. Hands can still help, or sometimes I take a look because I'm not sure if I'm still neutral. So pelvis will stay neutral for this whole exploration. Left knee in, then left leg up toward the ceiling. And it might not be completely vertical. Let's prioritize neutral pelvis. Okay, we're breathing in. Well, it doesn't matter how you want to breathe. It's good. It's up to you. Let's make sure the ribs are staying down. They're not popping up. So we don't have a big gap between the lower spine and the floor. It's small. Okay, from here, lower the leg almost to the ground and then bring it back up. So I would just keep internal eyes on the pelvis the whole time and continue the movement. You might bring your hands to the bottom of your rib cage if you notice that you tend to flare. This will help remind you to keep the ribs down. If you want, you can, next time the leg is up more vertical, you could straighten the bottom leg. Again, we still have neutral pelvis. And then continue. Lifting and lowering left leg. Right leg is pressing down, the feet are flexed. Not flinging the leg, I'm moving slowly. And the leg doesn't need to go just to vertical. If you have the mobility to bring the leg in more without flattening your back, you're welcome to do so. Couple more times. We're working without the belt more often lately to cultivate more active range of motion, more control in the body, and thus more safety. Next time the leg comes up toward the ceiling, plant the foot, and the other foot plants too if it's straightened, leg straightened. Okay, we're just checking in, making sure we still have our neutral pelvis. Gets easier the more you do it, the more you can just do it without thinking about it. And then right knee in, or whatever your second side is. And leg up, straighter. Push through your heels. Slowly lower the leg down, almost to the ground. And then back up. So we're internally keeping an eye on, or externally, but both the pelvis and the ribs. Next time the leg is more up, if you'd like, straighten the bottom leg. It's active, it's not going to sleep. And we continue with the lifting and lowering. We're building hip flexor strength here as well as hamstring stretching. One more time. And then bend the knee, land the foot. Let's plant both feet. Arms can come out wide. We'll drape left thigh on top of right thigh. Yeah, so knees are bent. There we go. And then allow the weight of your legs to release over to the left, but keep the right shoulder down. And then try to initiate or use your right hip, right glute to bring the legs back up to center. Let's go a few more times in that direction. Let's try to allow the lowering of the legs be more passive and the raising of the legs to be more active. And then from here, once the legs are back up to center, let them release over to the right side. Maybe bring your left arm alongside your ear. maybe use your right hand on your right thigh. Just a little away pressure. It might feel good in the hip. You might feel like that's not doing anything for me, and then don't do it. But you might feel like if you push the thigh away, you get a little more space in the hip. Breathing into the left side. Breathing into the left upper back. Bring the arms back to the T. Bring the legs back up to center and switch the cross of your legs. Letting the legs drop over to the right. So right leg is on top, legs drop right, left shoulder stays down. Back up, we'll stay in this one direction a number of times, allowing the legs to release with gravity. And then using left hip, left glute to help bring the legs back up. Next time the legs are up through center, let them release over to your left now. We don't change the cross of the legs, so right leg is still on top. Bringing right arm alongside the ear. And if that pressure with your left hand on the left thigh, it's kind of like a pressure in and away to create a little more sense of space through the hip capsule, that's an option. I didn't feel it on the first side, but I do on this side, so you might try again if you didn't feel it on the first side. Breathing into the right side, breathing into the right upper back. And when you're ready, bring the legs up, arms down. We'll come back into the full release of Shavasana. This is the end of our lengthy floor sequence today. Notice what's shifted. Notice what you notice. When you're ready, bend your knees, roll to your side, and come up to sit. And we're going to work a little bit with our pinwheel shape. So let's plant the feet. Knees are bent, feet are planted, lean back onto your hands. And then windshield wiper the knees side to side, just like we started on our back. Make sure your knee's not running into your foot. So if it is, try to go wider. Yeah, that's it. Good. Okay, I'll mirror you for this sequence. So the next time the knees drop over to the right, let them stay there. You can always make little adjustments if it's not feeling great for you. If you can just leave it where they landed, cool. If not, cool. We'll place the hands on the right knee. If that pressure on the knee doesn't feel good, you can place your hands alongside the knee. And let's hinge at the hips to fold forward over the knee, so sternum over knee pretty much. And then you can use your hands pressing down to come back up. A couple more times here. If you want to work a little bit more, press the lower leg, right lower leg from knee to foot down in order to help you rise up. So not just the hands, or maybe not at all the hands, and all that front leg. So you can make it as, you can make it easier or more challenging, that's up to you. Let's add a kind of wave-like motion through the spine. So you can let the head drop first and try to round and then lift the chest to rise. Or you can hinge forward and then round the spine to roll up. So no huge technique needed here. If you feel like adding a wave to the spine rather than that pure hip hinge, just depends on how you're feeling and what you need. One more time. And then once you're up, lean back onto your hands. We're dropping the legs over to the left. Same thing, second side. Hands can be on the knee, folding forward, sternum in line with the knee and rising up. Hands could be alongside the knee. You can use your hands or you can use this lower leg. So left leg from knee to foot presses down to bring you up. Feel free to add any kind of rounding or wave-like motion through the spine. A couple more times on this side. And then next time you rise up, whenever that is for you, lean back onto your hands, drop the legs over to the right again. Left hand, palm up. We're going to try to bring it underneath the left ankle. If you can't reach the ankle, it could be higher up the leg, or you could bring the foot in order to reach it. So left hand, palm up, scooping underneath to hold this trail leg, and right hand on the front knee, on the right knee. So now we're going to kind of rock. So as we rock forward, lift the back foot. As you rock back, lift the front knee. Last one on this side. Releasing the foot and the knee. Lean back onto your hands. Drop your legs over to your left. Right hand scooping underneath the back ankle. Left hand on the left knee. Tip forward to lift the foot. Tip back to lift the knee. The end of that one, whenever it is for you, lean back onto your hands, Drop your legs over to your right again. Okay, we're oriented facing out over this front knee pretty much. For some of you, you might need to lean more onto your forearm, at least initially, to be successful. You can have your hand further out so you can get a little lean away. We try to lift this back foot. Familiar? It's all familiar, right? We've all done it all in different orientations. So as upright as you can be, but as leaned over as you need to be in order to be successful. Now, if you can get your foot way the heck up there by leaning over, then try to be a little more upright. So we're not going for like, wow, look at my foot, it's up in the ceiling. We're going for like a moderate lift here. Couple more times, pressing the knee down. And that's helpful. Press the knee down and lift the foot up. Good. And then from here, you're gonna press the knee down, lift the foot up, then lift the knee. And now we're gonna swing the leg all the way out in front. And flex the foot and push through the heel. And then see if you can rewind. So legs swinging around, land the knee, land the foot. Try that a couple more times. Foot lifts, then knee. So this back hip will drop a bit as the leg comes out in front. This next time your leg comes out in front, let's pause. Meet me there. Leg is out in front. If you can do this without the hands, try, because it's hip flexor strength. I mean, your hands could be here. If you need to, hold your leg. But if you don't, then hands can be on the ground. Leg is straight, and we're just doing a slow little pulse up and down. Toes point up. Good. And then from here, rotate back around, land the knee, land the foot. One more time here. Lift the foot, lift the knee, swing around. And now you can hold the thigh or hold the foot or use a belt. So we're in basically like a heron pose, a Kranchasana, chest lifting, but let's stay dynamic. So bend the knee and then re-extend. You can, there's lots of different ways you could bend the knee, right? I mean, I know that sounds silly, but you could bend the knee directly in toward the chest. You could bend the knee outside of the body, out to the side. You could bend the knee just by dropping the foot. And then next time the leg is straight or straighter, let's breathe here just a little bit. So keep lifting the chest, pushing through the heel. You can squeeze the quad and draw the shoulder blades down the back. Okay, see if you can keep the leg right where it is, but release your hands. Yeah, that's the difference between your active and passive. Great job, everybody. We're swinging back around, landing the knee, landing the foot, and then lean back to your hands, and let's check all that out on the other side. Okay, so we're working on being upright, but we also want to be successful. So lean to your side, maybe onto your forearm if you need to. We're lifting the foot, pressing the knee down of this back, this trail leg, your right leg. And now, just these few times, see if you can keep, I should have said this on the first side, the pelvis back and the inner thigh rotating down, rather than the whole pelvis moving. Pushing the knee down will help to lift the foot. Excellent. Okay, lift the foot, then lift the knee, let the leg swing around in front. The right hip sitting bone might come down or get closer to the ground, and then lean to rewind. We're trying to root the knee, lift the foot first, then lift the knee, swing the leg around, toes point up, and then try to land the knee first and then the foot. A couple more times. Okay, the next time the leg is out in front of you, we're holding and doing a slow little pulse up and down. Yep. Excellent. Lean off to the side to bring the leg back. Land the knee, land the foot. One more time. Lift the foot, lift the knee. Bring the leg around in front. Push through your heel. And now we'll hold maybe the foot. You can use your belt. You can hold your leg. And we bend and straighten. Couple more times. Try not to necessarily go just the easiest, like the path of least resistance. So for me, like no problem to bring the knee outside of the shoulder, but a little bit different feel with the knee in toward the chest. And then the next time the leg is straight, or one of these next times, let's hold it here. Shoulders down, chest up, knee could still be somewhat bent. Try squeezing the quad, the thigh, and flexing the foot. Now we try to keep the leg right where it is and release the hands. And then bring it back around. Land the knee, land the foot, lean back onto the hands. Windshield wiper side to side. Drop the knees over to the right. Right hand stays on the ground. Left hand draws a circle on the ground around you. Try incorporating your head, rotation, and your eyes, rotation. Yeah, let's start to let the hand rise up, leaving the ground. Still doing this circular motion. I like to give myself a pat on the back here. And then option to take this into a kind of lift. So when the arm swings kind of back behind you around the body, you can take it up toward the ceiling and lift the hips so we're on the feet and the knees, and then come back down. It's easy if you just kind of feel where it happens. Nice stretch through the left side, coming up and down a few times. One more time. Well, let's try staying up for a moment. And then circle the arm as much as you comfortably can in one direction and in the other direction. And then come back down, all the way down. Lean back onto your hands. This is our last pinwheel. exploration. So left leg is forward, drawing a circle or semicircle around me with my right hand. On the floor at first, including rotation of the head and the eyes. Gradually, hand leaves the floor. Give yourself a pat on the back. And then if you want, when the arm swings across the body, push the left hand down and lift the hips up. Stay as long as you like and then come down. And try that a few times. Maybe one more time, staying up. And if your shoulder's okay for it, or just go within the range that your shoulder is okay with. Drawing a circle in one direction. And then the other. And then lower your hips. Lean back onto your hands. And just easy breezy, knees side to side. Okay, and then whenever you're ready, we'll come through to center. Give yourself some sticky mat underneath you. We have 4 standing asana. And they're all balance poses. Okay, so let's stand up. Feel free to go over to a wall if you want a little extra help with your balance poses. We're starting with mountain pose because that's our foundation for every standing pose. So connecting to your feet, toes are spread, arches are lifted. Feel your hips stacked over your feet. Feel your ribs stacked over your pelvis. Shoulders stacked over the ribs, the hips, the ankles. Ears stacked over the shoulders, the ribs, the hips, really even the knees, usually, and the ankles or the heels. Okay, tree pose. Let's start with the weight in the right foot, coming up onto the left toes, turning the knee out to the side, really standing up tall on this right leg, and then foot can stay on the ground or it can come up. Let's not use the arm to lift the foot. Let's use the leg to lift the foot and be okay with that placement. Pressing the foot and the leg into each other. Your knee can withstand that pressure in unless you have some kind of knee problem. So this idea of not pushing the foot into the knee is old info. Hands can come to heart center or maybe arms reach up. If all of your focus is on balance, stay with that. Keep breathing, keep working with that. If you can work a little bit of refinement, we want to try to see what it feels like to have both hip points pointing directly forward and the knee moving back and almost down, kind of reaching away from you independently. Squeezing right glute will help your balance. Beautiful. Let's come back down, mountain pose, feeling that stacking, that plumb line from ears down to ankles. When you're ready, shifting your weight into your left leg, make sure your toes are spread, come up onto right toes, turn the knee out to the side, Maybe the foot stays part on the ground. Maybe it comes higher up. Keep the big toe down. Do what you like with your arms. Definitely engage. Woo. Left glute. If you can feel or look at your pelvis, hip points shine forward. Knee draws back and maybe even reaches away from the midline. Foot and leg press into each other. Last couple breaths. Okay, that's a good time to come on out. Mountain pose. Okay, we'll come back into the right foot. Take your time, building your foundation through your toes, through your heel, through the leg. This time, dancer or quad stretch. Okay, so we're reaching back for this foot. Use a belt if you need to. And let's just be here for now, not jumping into some huge expression. So either using same side hand or both hands, draw the heel toward the sitting bone and press the foot into the hand or hands. Let's stay here for today, squeezing the glutes. You can do what you like with your arm. If you want to come forward into that other shape, that's fine. For me, I always feel like I need more of this hip flexor quad opening than the back bend. The chest open. Gently releasing. Foundation through your left foot, toes, leg. When you're ready, reaching for the foot. Nice. Same side hand or both hands. So initially, we're making it all about the hips, so the ribs are staying in line with the pelvis. We're drawing the heel in and pressing the foot back. Get a solid sense of that. And then if you want to open up and extend through the arm, you're welcome to. Okay, when you're ready, calmly release. You might want your belt for this one. This is our extended hand to big toe. Bring the weight back into the right leg. Knee could stay bent. So there's so many different options for this pose. But one way to work it is bringing the knee in, up as much as you can. And then you can take your belt around your foot or take hold of your foot and extend the leg out in front. We want to avoid this hip coming up, right? So the outer hip's going down and we're really upright here. So if in order to get your foot, you're rounding, then you need the belt or to hold the thigh higher up because the spine staying lengthened is more important than your ability to hold your foot. Keep the big toe down, chest up. The standing leg could be a little bent. We want to squeeze the glutes here. This is great for hip flexors, and then also we can gauge the distance between our active and passive range of motion. So if you're able, release the foot, but try to keep it where it was. Oh, that's hard. I lost it. And coming back down. Okay, second side. Utthita Hasta Padangusthasana. If you like the Sanskrit, we start with the foot that's staying on the ground, attending to that, and the standing leg. And then, if you want to follow the sequence I did, you draw the knee in, really get that leg high up first, find your balance, and then you can take your belt around your foot, or hold your big toe, or I like to hold the outer edge of my foot and extend the leg out in front. Standing up super tall. Not letting this hip come up just because the leg came up. The standing leg could be bent. Ribs are in line with the pelvis. Not popping forward. So lifting and broadening the chest is different than the ribs. And then see if you can let the leg go, but keep it up. And then lower it down. Okay, last standing balance is eagle pose. Okay, we did a lot of balance because having the hips be balanced can really help standing balance. Okay, so if you wanted to use a block, place it outside of your right foot. Softening the knees here for sure. Weight into the right leg. Left foot can land on the block, or you can keep wrapping and maybe hook. Alternatively, coming into the figure 4 shape. Not less than, just different. If you'd like, you add your arms to bear hug or eagle wrap. Calmly releasing back to mountain pose. If the block was helpful, slide it over so it's outside of your left foot. Soft knees. Bringing your right foot to the block. Or figure 4. Again, it's not less than, it's just different. Or wrap. Maybe adding your arms. Calmly releasing to mountain pose. Let's stretch the arms up toward the ceiling. And then bend the knees so hands touch down. Plant your hands. Walk the feet back, a downward facing dog. So you can just elongate here. Through the arms, through the sides, through the spine. Maybe through the legs. Lower the knees down to the ground. And let the hips settle back to the heels. Just a couple breaths here in child's pose. And when you're ready, please make your way into Shavasana. coming to rest in stillness. You feel your breath in your body. And feel your body on the earth. And when you're ready, gently make your way up to a seat. Let's take a breath in. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace, 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 peace. Thank you.